Hello, my name is Oscar de Leon, and I'll be talking about how scam artists communicate their products and how they use persuasion methods in order to sell you for their own gain. I'll be showcasing three sources and then after that interconnecting them all. My first source Douglas comes from Douglas Alkin. He posted this in the American Biology Teacher, and he relates how us humans lure unaware prey uh, in order for their own gain. Just like, for example, uh, the anglerfish with its fins that mimic squidging morsels that lure unsuspecting prey. Pretty much every time someone does something, a human does something, you can relate it to nature and you can like see it from a different point of view. If you, for example, look at this. For example, the anglerfish is just like, it's angler to lure the little fish and then eat them, pretty much selling them something and then just at the end not being what they initially thought. So I thought it was pretty neat that he related this to, how scam artists lure their prey in and take advantage of them in a way. My second source was by Carol Mark. She has fundamentals of geotrology certificate from the USC David School of Gerontology. Um, so basically, why I chose this source is because it talks about how the scammers think. Um, she talks about how to outsmart them in a way. For example, she she talks about how to detect a fraud and identity theft. So she's basically just maybe she's been probably, according to the source, she's been in many of the situations where she's trying to get scammed. So this provoked her to write this article. Um, she uses all sorts of ways of identifying a scammer, just like monitoring your accounts, use online alerts, tools, or services, or just use a credit monitoring device. She talks about this and she talks about how to keep your money safe. I chose this source mainly because it's just showcasing the problem. It's showcasing the problem from another point of view, and it helps you get a better understanding of what they're doing, what scammers are doing, and why they're doing it. My last source is by Concovia Maria. Um, she's an author of the New York Times bestseller Mastermind. She's a columnist of the New Yorker, and her articles have appeared online in print in the New Yorker, The Atlantic, the New York Times, Wired, and Scientific American, among numerous other publication sites. This article talks about how con artists use physiological tactics to manipulate their prey, just like the anglerfish talks about how, the scam artists try to sell you something that's not real. The best way to make money is to tell people you know how to make money, sort of thing. It's a quote. So she starts off by first telling yourself to ask you questions about like, who are these guys? Why are they trying to help me? What's their purpose, right? So, she pretty much talks about how uh, the scam artists use the tactics in order them to gain your trust for their own good. He uses the quote, "There's no such thing as free lunch," which I really like. Basically, she's just saying to be aware of the con artist at all times. It can happen. The quote, like, it has a lot of meaning to it. Like, for example, lunch. It talks about like, lunch is a place where you're supposed to relax and whatnot, and it can happen to you then and there. So these scams are really everywhere. And she talks about how to detect them and how their tactics work. What we know in the US, 1 in 10 adults will fall victim to scam fraud every year. Uh, this is a big number. Scam artists know many strategies to lure people in who want to make money and profit off them by persuading them into buying a program that does not do anything or a product. How do they do it? Many of the con artists on the internet will start off by showing off flashy things and talk about how they supposedly got them. They pretty much showcase your ideal life to tell you how you can also have these things. This type of strategized communication is what ruins many lives of people who are desperate for a change. So basically, every time that you see someone, bragging on online and trying to sell you something, it's most likely, a scam. This is my thoughts on the whole situation. I see this a lot in social media where someone would try to sell you a product or a program, maybe like a fitness program that doesn't really do anything, or like a meal program. Many of these are just solely with the purpose of making money out of you, unfortunately. So we have to be aware of that. I think that we can see this a lot in nature, like my first source said. Uh, this happens all around nature as well, like in animals, whatever. Just like the anglerfish. There's many other examples. Um, the way their mind works, in my opinion, is how to move the money from your pocket to their pocket. That's kind of the name of the game. They don't really care what you do after with the program, if you like it or not. They're just there for making money. That's how you have to think about these scammers because, as we said, 1 in 10 US adults fall victim of a scam every year, which is not a good number at all. One of the things that I want to talk about is their language. Scam artists always try to be as persuasive as they can sound. Um, I think that using phrases such as, "Oh, I was just like you," or "Oh, I remember when I was in that stage," it really triggers something in the other people's brains where they're like, "Wow, he was where I was stuck and he got out of there, so he must know this must be real, like he must know the way out of this or whatnot," which is it's terrible because most of the time they're just selling you a scam, something that doesn't work really. Overall, we have learned that con artists use persuasion and miscommunication in order to sell your product. Um, this is not the first time we see this in nature, and it's not the last. We see it all around uh, nature, just like my first article said. Um, we see it in humans, we see it pretty much everywhere. It's all around the world, and it's a big problem that needs to be addressed. Thank you for listening. See you.